Nathan Oakley has previously presented footage which supposedly provides evidence for his assertion that objects disappear from the bottom up on a flat plane as their distance increases. We will start with describing the experiment that is shown in the footage. We take a long hallway and place an object on the floor on one end of the hallway, and then we film the object from the other end of the hallway with a small aperture camera such that the angular size of the object is close to the diffraction limit of the lens. We then lower the position such that the angle between the floor and the imaginary line connecting the object and the lens decreases. Oakley refers to this angle as the angle of attack, and when this angle is below some critical angle, the object is no longer detected. Nathan Oakley argues that the object decreases in angular size as the angle of attack decreases, and he uses this to explain why things disappear over the horizon. There are many problems with this conclusion, but we will purely focus on how to improve this experiment. And it becomes patently clear that the disappearance of the object is actually very likely due to the floor not being perfectly level, and therefore it is not possible to determine whether the disappearance is due to the decreasing angle or the floor obscuring the object. If the angle is the cause for the object disappearing from view, then this can be easily demonstrated by raising the object off the floor so that it's not possible that the object is obscured by it. The configuration is then shown in this diagram, and when the observer height is equal to the object height, the angle is 0. So if the angle of attack hypothesis is correct, then the object should no longer be visible. However, if it is visible, we must accept the null hypothesis and conclude that the angle of attack is not a factor that makes things disappear. So let's actually run the experiment, and first we take a small light and place it on the floor like shown in this image. Next we walk to the other end of the hallway, and this hallway I used is approximately 80 meters long, and we then film the light and see if it disappears as we move the camera down. I just used a standard iPhone camera for this. Okay, so you can't really see much on this, so let's zoom it in. Yes, you can clearly see that the light disappears as the angle of attack decreases, but as we said, we need to control for the floor. So what we do is we raise the light a bit so it cannot be obscured by any irregularities in the floor. So we adjust our setup so the light is a little bit above the floor as is shown in this picture. And we repeat the experiment. We see the light not disappearing, but this time I'll pause it when the lens is roughly at the same height as the light such that the angle of attack is 0. and we still see the light. Nathan Oakley and some of his minions have performed the first experiment many times and they all get similar results. And they claim that this result is due to this angle of attack bullshit. The result of the second experiment shows that the angle of attack has fuck all to do with it, and it is something to do with the property of the floor. Of course, there is the possibility that there's something about the angle of attack and the floor interacting, but we really know what that interaction is. When the angle of attack is sufficiently low, the light is obscured by inhomogeneities in the floor.